Welcome in on this Monday. Actually looks like winter outside, although the temperature is not so bad. The Grizz get Triple J back last night, but down goes Zach Edey. Head injury. Boy, they can't get a break, can they? They certainly were a different and better team with Zach Edey around. In fact, I think the rebounding battle was even until he left last night. Man, Jokic is just a joy to watch. There's no question about that. And the Grizz fall, we'll get into that in just a second. Where is everybody going to go? This weekend is going to be so telltale. We'll talk bowls and college football playoffs and all the rest with the Big Cheese, the head honcho of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. He comes your way in about 7 minutes. Same story, different kind of focus. That will be on the SEC. Ole Miss. Is Kiffin going to leave? That we have to check in with our SEC historian down in Baton Rouge. Ron Higgins will join us at 10:25, and then we will talk Tigers basketball with Jason Munz every Tuesday now. In this time slot, Jason's going to join us the rest of the way. It's nice to be back from the Bahamas, but I must say, I've been there a few times. I've been to Atlantis. Baha Mar is up a notch, and it's purposely done up a notch. And the best way was the guy who was setting up that little tiny arena. He said Atlantis was built for those families that save up all year and come one time. Baha Mar is built very upscale for those that will come 2 or 3 times a year and spend huge money. Like the minimums in the casino much higher in Baha Mar than they are in Atlantis. And interestingly enough, Baha Mar is a great story. I'm not sure who owns it now. It began by the Chinese on the same island in Nassau to do battle with Atlantis. And they ended up about 20% short on the money, and they got into a sort of a little argument with the Bahamian government. And so it sat still for about a year and a half. Didn't decay, but it didn't get completed. Finally, they got another infusion of $1 billion. So they were 3.8. Now they're at 4.8 billion. And they had a soft opening in, I believe it was 18, and full-fledged, including these tournaments that started in 19. And it is just a beautiful place. And the Tigers played beautiful basketball in the first game against Purdue. That's a great team. That's a team that can win a national title. They got all the pieces. They're not the quickest team in the world, but they're so calculating, so disciplined. Their cuts, their movements, their screens, their skill with shooting the basketball, their footwork, like both big guys inside, Kaufman, Wren, and Kloof. They're really good players. They got Lawyer outside, and they got the maestro, Braden Smith, who's manipulating things. That was, I think, a terrific showing by the Tigers. And then, in the second game, they take on a Wake Forest team they're better than. They were the second best team. I think they would have beaten Texas Tech. Texas Tech has Toppin, who, by the way, $4 million NIL money, saw him, stood next to him at the craps table, and in a matter of 5-6 minutes, the guy kept peeling like 9 $100 bills. I guess, it's so weird to see a college player do that, but I guess when you're making $4 million, what's $900? Nothing. But the Tigers just blew the game with Wake Forest. 3 mental errors at the end of the game. 3 different ways, if they just do it, they win the game. And that is Zach Davis gets a rebound with 9 seconds left. If he pulls it out, game's over. They're going to foul him, probably 5 seconds left. All he's got to do is make 1 free throw that's guaranteed you're okay. 2, you win the game. He's a good free throw shooter. But he goes in for a layup, and on the rebound when he missed, it gets compounded because Ashton Hardaway fouls, and they go to the other end and tie the game. Now, they foul with 1.5 left. All you got to do is make the first free throw, call timeout, let everybody know what's going on, miss the thing, you win the game. Instead, they didn't do that. They hit the free throw, which allowed them to set up one final play. This play is a beautiful play. And I will tell you, they did the same exact play. Different guy took the shot. Their best player, Harris, took the shot against Texas Tech. They were down 84-80, so it really didn't matter. Forbes calls a timeout. They're going to practice this thing. And I didn't know you could do it in .9. Same play. Spillers gets the ball, deflects it on the wing. The guy takes the shot, hits it in .9. So I knew with 1.5 he could make it. The Tiger coaching staff had seen the play. This time, they're going to run it. By the way, I sat in the restaurant after that game. I sat next to the family of Harris. He joined. I asked him about that play. I said, I didn't think you could do something in .9 like that. He goes, I didn't either till we practiced it. I said, how often do you practice that play? He says, every day. That's what they do. And so they run it to a different guy, Colvin, who makes the shot. Now, if the Tigers play man-to-man and don't watch the ball, Spillers may get up and he may deflect it. But he's going to deflect it to a guy who's covered. Instead, they watch the ball. 3 mental errors, and the Tigers blow the game. Give them credit for making the play, and they did it 2 nights in a row, so they're pretty good. But Memphis is a better team than Wake Forest. Now, I walk away hopeful because I know when they play, and we found 2 new guys, Memphis did. They found William Wharton, and Ingram's now in shape. And wait, maybe we'll see tomorrow Hassan Abdul Hakim, because Penny continues to reiterate he's the best big guy they got. Silla wasn't there either. The depth on this team is impressive. I walked away. Look, going there after UNLV, I thought Memphis would lose by 30 to Purdue. I really did. But now I know that they did some bonehead things at the end. But I am convinced they'll get breaks at the end because these things even out. I think this team is going to make the NCAA. Really do. And I think they're going to show people that, they got 4 tough games. They got, first of all, New Orleans may be tough. They're winning games, and they just lost by 2 to a good team the other night. They got a bunch of foreign pros on that team. So SIU, then New Orleans. Now you've got tough games. You've got 3 at home. Vandy, Baylor. You got to go 2. Oh, it's 2 at home. Baylor and Vandy. You got to win those games. Can you win at Mississippi State? Maybe. Going to be tough to win at Louisville. But if you win 3 out of those 4 and you win the others in your non-conference, so that makes you 8-5 in non-conference, and then take care of business. I think this team's going to be okay. And I'm not saying that because I'm their homer announcer. I think if you look at it, if you get over these mental errors, you look at this depth, and a guy like Wharton's going to step up. I don't know about the injuries to Givens and to Parker. We'll talk with Munzie about that. Jason Munz will join us last thing. Before we get hooked up with Steve Earhart, Jokic last night is just amazing. 17-10 with 16 assists. It's his 10th triple-double this year. Almost every game is a triple-double. And he's the only guy I know that does it with 15 or more assists. He's just incredible. And look, when Edey goes out, there's nobody to defend him. I give credit to Jock Landale, 26-10. That's really good. But I got to tell you, I warn you, sometimes numbers don't really mean that much. Here's why I say this. Every NBA team is going to score 100. No matter who's on the floor, somebody's going to get those points. There's no Ja. There's Triple J's just coming back. Edey is gone. No Pippen. No Jerome. You can go down the list of guys who are not playing. So somebody's got to score. That was Jock Landale last night, who tied, I think, his career high with the 26. He was good. I give him a lot of credit. They need their guys back. So now 6-12, 10th in the West, and a 4-game road trip starts in New Orleans on Wednesday. Got to win that game. Hopefully, Edey comes back. It's a head injury, and they really, because this is the way the Grizzlies operate, they're not going to tell you exactly what the story is. It's weird. The play where any kind of contact came like 2 minutes before he left the game. And then they said head injury. So nobody can really pinpoint where exactly what happened. They think they know, but they're not 100% certain. So time will tell on that. All right, Tigers hoops against SIU tomorrow. We'll talk with Munzie about that. And then football, Thursday night, Memphis 5.5-point favorite against Navy. What's Lewis's status? What's Chris Adams, the left tackle? What's his status? We'll find out a little bit more about that. Hopefully today, but probably not until Thursday. In the meantime, as I sit in the Family Leisure Studios, we're going to hook up with our good friend, the Big Cheese, the head honcho of the AutoZone Liberty Well. But I do remind you that hot tub and swim spot clearance continues with hot tubs starting at under $2,500. The best thing is the in-stock patio furniture, up to 50% off, and there is special financing available. Mention this ad, you get a free gift with a hot tub purchase, and those gifts are always good. Get to I-40 and Whidden Road. Make sure you tell them about us, and you will absolutely have a big smile on your face. Steve Earhart, have you got a big smile on your face now? Do you think the SEC is going to provide you with a partner? They've got 10 teams with bowl eligibility. I guess depending on how many get in the playoffs, they have to have 11 or 12. There's 3, so you got 3 chances here at 5 and 6. Hold on. Kentucky is at Louisville. That's Saturday, 11 a.m. Auburn is at Alabama. That's Saturday at 6:30. Actually, they're home against Alabama. And then Mississippi State is home against Ole Miss. That is Friday, right here on this station at 11 o'clock. So you tell me, will you have an SEC partner?
Yeah. Well, David, you hit it right on the head. There's so many permutations, combinations, situations, whatever you want to call it, because in addition to those games, there are situations like could LSU knock off Oklahoma, which would knock them out of the 5 going up. Right now everybody says, well, the SEC is going to get 5 up. Now, if say Oklahoma, and they were not in it until they upset Alabama at Alabama. So could LSU beat Oklahoma? That's another situation there. Could Texas knock out Texas A&M and knock them out of the top 4? Because remember, there's a lot of teams biting at the heels. For example, the BYU Texas Tech, the Big 12 says we deserve 2 teams up. We've got 2 really good teams in BYU and Texas Tech. So in addition to those 3 games, and you're right, what are the odds of all of the favorites going to win in those games? Now, they're certainly favored. Now, Mississippi State is the history of the Egg Bowl. Oftentimes the home underdog pulls off a win in the fabled history of that rivalry. And could Auburn, and Auburn is an underdog, but not by very much. Do you have that in front of you there, David?
They're actually all pretty close.
Yeah.
Let me, I can do that very quickly.
Yeah. Okay.
I was actually kind of surprised at the way the lines were, but in the Ole Miss Mississippi State game, the Rebels are 7.5-point favorites. In the Alabama-Auburn game, Alabama is 6.5-point favorite. And what was the third game we were looking at? A&M and Texas?
Well, A&M and Texas and Oklahoma and LSU, as well as Louisville and Kentucky.
All right, so Louisville and Kentucky, Louisville's only a 2.5-point favorite. That's it. Mm-hmm. LSU, Oklahoma. Oklahoma's a solid 10.5-point favorite. LSU doesn't even have a coach, let's be honest. In the A&M Texas game, A&M is only favored in Austin by 2.5. So 2 critical games are 2.5-point games.
Right. So it's a difficult situation, but if the SEC gets 4 up, which is what the campaign is going on between the other conferences. You know, the American, they've got Miami sitting there and banging on the door and say, we're just as good as these two-loss SEC teams. How come everybody's forgetting? So we beat Notre Dame early, and then Notre Dame beats up on poor old Syracuse, so they get some votes. So it's a really wide open thing, and I would be willing to bet, and we'll see when the CFP comes out today, what the changes are between today and next Tuesday after that last weekend. I'll bet there's some changes. There always seems to be. And last year, Alabama was the one that got left out. Remember, they went nuts, saying, well, we should never have been left out. And the year before, it was Florida State, undefeated, and they got left out. So there's a lot yet to go. So that answers at least it opens more questions about will there be an SEC team. But we also have the three-way agreement, the SEC, Big 12, and the American. And there's some really good teams in the American, as Memphis certainly knows that you've got a situation with that young quarterback at North Texas who, unbelievable, this young guy, he's maybe leading the country in passing in so many facets. And
Drew Mestemaker is his name.
Yeah, and I was talking, their athletic director, North Texas, called yesterday and, talked about their university. I didn't realize it's 45,000 students, a big university there just north of Dallas. And this Drew Mestemaker, he didn't even play quarterback in high school. I mean, the story, he said, it's a great story. It's the next Diego Pavia kind of story that when he was at a quarterback camp and the North Texas coach was interested in him, he said, well, send over some tape on him. And there was no tape. The last quarterback time he played was in ninth grade. So this guy gets in. Nobody knows anything about him. He ends up going to North Texas. He ends up not playing the regular season because he was a young freshman that nobody knew anything about. He ends up playing in their bowl game last year, his first game ever. And this year, and Dave, I think you might have the stats there.
He's unbelievable. So here's his freshman numbers at this point with one regular season game to go. He has thrown for almost 70% completion rate. He's got 3,931 yards passing, 28 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions. Then add another 144 yards rushing, which means he's over 4,000 total yards, and add 6 more touchdowns. He's involved in 34 touchdowns. My goodness, what a freshman year, what a find. But here's a question I got for you. You made me aware the College Football Playoff Committee's rankings this week are the ones that will count for tiebreakers, apparently. And if you look at the ratings, both Coaches Poll and AP, James Madison is ahead of both North Texas and Tulane. Do you think James Madison could steal the Sun Belt, could steal the Group of 5 spot away from the American for the playoffs?
Well, this is my opinion only. Everybody's got opinions, but absolutely not. I do not think that James Madison, even though the voters in the AP and the football coaches poll is ranked ahead. I used to vote in that, and I didn't pay much attention because they rushed you into voting on Saturday night, and all you did was move what you had before. But I think when the College Football Playoff Committee gets together, they're already together right now, this very moment, working on their announcement tonight, is that the strength of schedule is so important to them. And you've got a strength of schedule situation that the American is so much stronger than the totality of the Sun Belt, including Memphis. Memphis, South Florida, Navy, some really good teams. And in the Sun Belt, James Madison has only beaten one team with a winning record, Old Dominion, and they had to struggle to beat Washington State. In fact, they were trailing Washington State late in the fourth quarter at home, whereas Tulane, who is ranked ahead last week in the CFP, they're not going to move James Madison ahead of Tulane. And I think that now that you've talked and brought to light how good North Texas is playing, that I would fully believe that Tulane will be the top-rated G5 team tonight, and North Texas will be in there as well. And I think James Madison will be in the top 25, but they will not be ahead. So I would answer your question emphatically no. And why that is so important tonight, because the American determines who has the home site for next week's championship game in the American based on who is higher ranked tonight. And provided that they win. But they've got Charlotte at home, and if anybody thinks that Charlotte's going to beat Tulane at home,
both North Texas and Tulane are going to win. Here's North Texas's problem. Okay, they haven't played anybody either. They had the easiest American schedule. There's no doubt. If Tulane wins, in my opinion, if they win the championship game, and I think they host because they'll be the higher ranked team, then they're going to go to the playoff. If it's North Texas that wins that up against JMU, I don't know. I'd have to really take a look at both those schedules because I don't think North Texas has played that great a schedule either.
Well, here's why I would disagree with you, David, on that. We know now, I mean, I wouldn't know for sure, but I would bet your house that Tulane will host the title game next week in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Tulane will be favored at home because of what you just said. And if Tulane wins, they'll be going up in the 12, in my opinion. But if North Texas wins, that will be a win over a ranked team in their championship game. Whereas in the Sun Belt, they play the East versus West or whatever the two conferences are. So they would be playing Southern Miss, who is really struggling lately and is certainly not ranked. And even if James Madison wins, that will not be a strength of schedule win in their championship game. So that's why I would take the position that the American will be.
What if North Texas wins? Let me give you North Texas' schedule, okay? They beat Lamar 51-0. They beat Western Michigan by a field goal. They beat Washington State, so there's a comparison, I guess, with North Texas. They beat them 59-10. They beat Army. They beat them by a touchdown. They beat South Alabama by 2 touchdowns. They lost to South Florida big. They beat UTSA, but UTSA is a different team on the road. At home, they killed them 55-17. They killed Charlotte in Charlotte, but everybody does. They beat Navy by 2 touchdowns. They beat UAB, which Memphis couldn't do, and they beat them handily 53-24. They beat Rice. They beat, and they're going to play Temple. And they're at home against Temple, so they're big favorites in that game. That is not a kill. There's no Power 4 wins there either.
All right, but I still think it's a tougher schedule, and what the committee looks at, as we've seen in history, is what's the most recent measuring stick. And the most recent measuring stick, based on these hypotheticals, is that in your scenario, they would have upset Tulane at home, which is a much bigger, stronger win than if James Madison beats Southern Miss at home.
That's true. That's a good point.
I think that's a good point. I think that will be the defining line, and the American overall, regardless of what their schedule has been. And they've played against Navy, and I know they didn't play Memphis this year. It's probably a good thing now, looking at this young quarterback, that Memphis had a bye with them. But I'm fairly confident that the American champion, which will end up, in my opinion, it'll be in New Orleans next week, Friday night, Tulane hosting North Texas, that winner will go up to the 12. So any of you folks up there betting who's that going to be, I believe the winner of that game will go up. But, we could all be wrong and be surprised, but that also affects going back to the situation of, who's going to be in that final 12. The American has got, in my opinion, that slot that's reserved for the highest-ranked champion. Remember, you have to be champion of your conference, and the Mountain West got it last year when Boise State was the highest-ranked champion, but this year I think it's going to come out of the American.
Hope you're right. All right, let me give you AutoZone Liberty Bowl projections. I'll give you mine at the end. USA Today has Cincy against LSU. That means that there's going to be a couple of wins by the SEC over the weekend of surprises, Mississippi State or Kentucky or somebody. ESPN's got Memphis against Iowa State. One of them does. On 3, and The Athletic has Memphis against Cincinnati in your bowl game as well. Now, there's plenty that have Memphis in the Birmingham Bowl against Duke or Florida State. SI's got Memphis in the Military Bowl against Louisville. That'd be cool. I'll give you mine, but where do you think you're headed with this? I don't think the SEC is going to have enough teams.
Well, and that's why we talked so much about the American, because one reason we do the American is to support the University of Memphis. And of course, we've had Memphis twice over the last 6 years, and both times they played Iowa State. So I would not think that we would do that a third time. Iowa State versus Memphis. But it looks what's the opponent going to be from the Big 12 side. There's probably 4 teams that I would look at from the Big 12, David. And of course, no decisions have been made, and the Big 12 is working hard to get 2 up into the playoff, which that affects how many teams out of the SEC. But I would say that it might come down to a TCU, a Houston, Kansas State called us yesterday. Now they have to win. They lost that heartbreaker at Utah last week, and Kansas State's got a great history with us here. And Cincinnati, our old foe from up north, and they've had an exciting year. They've lost a couple of heartbreakers themselves, but they've had good attendance up there, and they won some games early on. So I would think that it would be one of those teams to be the opponent, whether it's from the American or from the SEC. But we certainly want to continue to support the American because that's where our hometown University of Memphis plays in that league.
All right, here's what I think. I think it's going to be North Texas. I think they will lose to Tulane in New Orleans, as you predicted. And I think they'll play.
No, I didn't predict they would lose. I would predict they'll play.
No.
In New Orleans.
I got that. I got that.
Okay.
And then I think they'll take on TCU because North Texas TCU is like a Fort Worth Bowl, or I should say a Metroplex Bowl. One extreme to the other in that Metroplex. Seems like it's the most interesting because I don't believe the SEC is going to get enough teams in. Anyway, we'll all find out as it all plays out. It's always a fun thing to watch. Mr. Earhart,
great.
Thank you much. I guess I'll see you at the Tiger SIU
we'll
game tomorrow night.
Yeah, we'll be there tomorrow. That's your old alma mater, right, Dave? And weren't you a basketball player up there at SIU? Weren't you?
I was a basketball devotee, a basketball follower. I was a terrific intramural player.
Now, did they have a 3-point line back in your day?
Not really. I mean, when I got there in 71, don't forget that line didn't come in until the mid 80s. So no.
I know. I was setting you up for that, Dave, because I figured with the 3-point line you could be a great shooter. You're at a loss for words. That would have been my only. You've ever been at a loss for words.
That would have been my only hope. If only I could have shot. That was the problem. As always, Mr. E.
Okay.
Thank you much.
Thank you, David.
We'll talk to you next week.
I'll envision you shooting those 3-pointers. Okay.
There you go. That is Steve Earhart, the big cheese, the head honcho of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. We're heading to Baton Rouge in just a minute. Our SEC historian on all of this, including the Brian Kelly lawsuit. That comes your way with Ron Higgins in just a moment.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Looking for the best prices on shirts, jeans, boots, and more? Frontier Western Store has you covered. At Frontier, you'll always find amazing deals on everything in the store. Unlike online and chain stores that run occasional sales, Frontier keeps prices low every single day, so you get the best deal whenever you shop. Be ready for winter with a full line of outerwear by Ariat and Carhartt. Beanies and coats galore, and then there's Frontier's world-famous boot showroom. Come shop new styles by Ariat, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, Frontier is the place. See thousands of boots by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and many more with daily arrivals. And Frontier makes Christmas shopping easy because everyone loves to see a new pair of boots under the tree. For the lowest prices every day, visit Frontier Western Store at 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch and at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Do you know about the 3 T's of Thanksgiving? Turkey for eating, table for gathering, and touchdowns for winning. With DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, every touchdown could bring you closer to cashing in before dessert. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code HERD. That's promo code HERD. Bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. gambler. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, pass-through of per-wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms or responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
Hey, everybody out there. Walker Taylor with Germantown and Collierville Commissary. Football season is upon us. Nothing better for your next tailgate party than a barbecue buffet spread provided by the Germantown or Collierville Commissary. Catering, self-serve or full, is a specialty of ours. No party too small, no party too large. You can check out our pricing and the items we feature at commissarybbq.com. Holidays will be upon us soon. At our Collierville location, we have a party room for 30 up to 100, perfect for family, business, or church functions. We also have a patio at the Collierville location, perfect in the fall for enjoying football and eating barbecue. Monday through Friday at the Collierville location, we also offer an all-you-can-eat buffet featuring barbecue pulled pork, ribs, fried chicken, and catfish. Each location also offers a $10.95 lunch special, a sandwich, a side, and a drink. Please come visit us at the original in Germantown by the railroad tracks or our new location in Collierville at Houston Levy and Poplar. And as always, go Tigers go.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Oh, we got so much college football to talk about with our SEC historian. That, of course, is Ron Higgins. Let's start in your hometown, LSU. Why is that school being so darn mean to their ex-coach? First, they fire Brian Kelly. Then they say they didn't fire him. He's fired off a lawsuit because he thinks there are opportunities for him to get a new job, and he can't get it because they're messing around with him. What's the story there? Good morning.
LSU's trying to be cheap, and they should have no right to be cheap. You know, that's what you agreed to pay the coach. When you sign them, you pay the guy. You know, that's basically it. They're trying to come up with some reason not to pay him. There's no reason not to pay him, okay? He did his job. He came here. He tried to win. He did everything he could to win. He didn't win, so pay the guy. You know, it's like, I know LSU's trying to hire another coach. They better find some guy that kind of, like, will understand what a circus they're coming to, because this is the kind of stuff, peripheral stuff you got to deal with. Not just in the school, but like I said before, if I'm the coach coming in here, it's like, well, who's my boss? Is it my athletic director? Is it the school president? Is it the board of supervisors that runs the school, or is it the governor?
Well, it sounds like it's the governor.
Yeah, and so, yeah. Look, they're going to. Kelly's going to get paid his full deal. He's not playing, and he shouldn't have to play. I mean, the only reason he would fold a little bit would be to get another job quicker. But if I'm him, I'm going to make sure I get every bit of my money. I know it's not the same amount, but Ed Orgeron got paid his money. His was like $18 million. And when Ed Orgeron was, he was announced at midseason he's going to be fired and he'll be cut you in the season. He was the happiest guy I've ever seen in a press conference getting fired.
I know. I remember it. Yeah.
You know, I remember the athletic director sitting there and he said, and Orgeron says, "My mama told me to make sure I get all my money from him." And I mean, LSU paid him, so there you go.
He said something like, $18 million not to coach? Why not? Let me sign up. And he didn't. But this is what, $60 million that Kelly's getting?
This is about 52.
52. Oh, just 52. Well, yeah. That is incredible. So, who do you think will be the LSU coach? You know the rumor. $90 million, 7 years, comes to a little less than $13 million a year for Lane Kiffin. Kiffin's wife, as you mentioned, was there last week. Is Kiffin the new coach? What do you think will happen?
I think that, I don't know if he'll announce Saturday. They almost probably announce Saturday after the game. I mean, Friday, it's supposed to be going to announce it Saturday. I don't think Kiffin's staying. I think he's leaving. And I feel like he's going to go to the best place where he thinks he can win a national championship, and that's LSU. LSU's simply going to only pay you $90 million. We're going to make sure you go stock a roster. We will give you $25 to $30 million for a roster.
Yeah, I heard that was part of the deal. Right, I heard it. $25 million.
LSU is also willing. They were probably the only school that was willing, if Ole Miss was willing, to let Kiffin coach the playoff game. LSU was willing to wait for Kiffin. They told him, come to us. We'll announce you're our coach, and then you go coach the playoff. We'll wait for you.
Do you think Keith Carter and the Ole Miss administration, if he announces after the Egg Bowl that he's leaving for LSU, do you think they will let him coach this team? And they should, because this is all about the guys that are there right now. But yeah, I could see going, what do you mean? You're going to stay our coach? You're going to try to find players for the other team while you're doing this? We don't believe in you. You've left us. Goodbye. What do you think happens?
Honestly, there's no good way to leave a team at the end of the year. But I really do think he's trying to do it the right way. He wants to coach his team in the playoff. And I don't think Ole Miss is going to let Ole Miss is going to say, no, we don't want you. You're leaving us. We don't want you. So just go on. But LSU was willing to say, sure, you can coach the playoff game. It's okay. We'll wait for you. We'll keep recruiting while you're gone. We'll wait. But I don't think Ole Miss is going to let him do that. So this will be his last game. But I think he wants to go somewhere where he feel like he can win a national championship. But I really think at Ole Miss maybe he say, because I've been here 6 years and it's really been hard to build it up to this. And I don't know if I can get it to the level I need to win a national championship here. That's no fault of Ole Miss.
I don't know if I believe that anymore, because I don't think it matters if you're in fertile recruiting area, as long as you got NIL money.
No, I believe that. I believe they can't win Ole Miss. I do. I still think, and this is nothing against people at Ole Miss, because there's so many good people at that school. It's hard to get the people you need to get to win a national championship to Oxford, Mississippi. It just isn't. It just is. And the Ole Miss has done everything humanly possible to overcome the racial stuff of the 60s. There's still people out there who cling to that, and especially African Americans, and it can hurt them in NIL or recruiting. It just does. It's not Ole Miss's fault. They've done a really good job of really overcoming that.
I think they've overcome it. I'm going to disagree politely with you. Agree to disagree. I think because of the NIL portal, with a guy like Lane Kiffin and his offense and his ability to attract people with that money, I think they could win a national title there. It could happen this year for all we know if they allow him to coach, if he does decide to leave. I think it is a whole new era. I think that opens up. Heck, look at Vandy. They can make the playoff. Who would have ever thought that? That's how things have changed.
Yeah, I agree with that. But Vandy's also in Nashville, and it's a metropolitan city, and people look at they want to live in Nashville. I mean, they like Nashville. There's things to do in Nashville. I'm not against Oxford, Mississippi. I'm not saying that Baton Rouge is the mecca of the world either. I'm just telling you, when the coach looks at everything, if you win a national championship, and part of recruiting is still in-state high school football. That's still part of your recruiting. It still is.
Well, there's no doubt that there's more in Florida and Louisiana. There are more high school players than there are in the state of Mississippi. There's no debating that one.
It's the reason Saban came to LSU, was because he knew the high school talent.
What about Saban? If Lane doesn't come there, what about Saban? What's that rumor like?
That's stupid. That's a stupid rumor. Saban's not going to go back on the coach. He's happy. He's making millions a year. He doesn't have to deal with NIL anymore. All he has to do is, do the ESPN stuff.
Right.
Try not to strangle Pat McAfee, and then basically make money and talk to the Aflac Duck. Really. I mean, he's happy.
All right, last thing, because as I always do with you, I run out of time. There are 12 open Division I football teams that are looking for a coach. I think LSU is the top program, so we're not going to argue that, okay? We'll say LSU's number one. Who's number two? Florida, Penn State, Auburn, Arkansas, Virginia Tech, Oklahoma State, Stanford, UCLA, Oregon State, UAB, Colorado State. How would you rank them?
I'll probably put Penn State second.
I agree.
Florida third. Auburn fourth. Arkansas fifth.
Over Virginia Tech?
Virginia Tech is filled already.
Oh, that is true. They got Franklin, but when it was open, I thought that would have been higher than Arkansas because they're in the ACC. It's a much more winnable situation.
You know what's crazy about Arkansas? And I talked to my friend Wally Hall about this. They get no money from the Waltons. Waltons will not give them any money.
Well, that's crazy.
And then you get down the line, UCLA, Oregon State, Cal, Stanford. Of course, there's UAB is at the bottom.
Yeah. And Colorado State is probably second to last behind, just in front of UAB. I agree with that.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, let's see how it all plays out because then you've got what happens after because you got to fill the rotation. You're going to lose coaches from other places that got to get filled. So if there's 12 openings, there's really 24 because those 12 are going to get filled, and now there's openings below.
Well, I think that's the craziest. It's going to be the craziest rest of the month ever. I mean, really, as soon as the season ends, it's going to be a crazy 2 or 3 weeks. People hopping all over the place for new jobs.
Great for talk radio, though. No question about that.
Oh, yeah.
As always, my friend, thank you much. We appreciate you. We'll talk to you next week.
I will see you.
That's our man, Ron Higgins from down in Baton Rouge. We take a break. When we come back, we talk Tigers basketball, the Bahamas, and a whole lot more. From the Commercial Appeal, Jason Munz is going to join us next.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, friends. It's Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers. The seasons have changed, and fall is my favorite time of the year. Fall means that Christmas is right around the corner, and we all start preparing for that most wonderful time of the year. All families have their own traditions, and they bring so much joy. And a part of that joy comes in giving gifts to those we love. For over 5 decades, Russell Brothers Jewelers has been the source of many of the most beautiful gifts ladies in Memphis have ever seen. Gifts that are cherished and frequently handed down from one generation to the next. Gentlemen, as you think about a gift for your special lady this Christmas or any time, I hope you will think about Russell Brothers Jewelers. Beauty, value, quality, and service are our hallmarks at Russell Brothers. This Christmas, come see us at Russell Brothers. We will help make you the best St. Nick ever. Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
The wrap-up the year sales event is going strong at Gossett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat on the bike. So come get in on it. Right now it's time to take your pick from 2026 Jeep Wrangler Sport S or 2026 Jeep Compass Limited Altitude. It's your choice, just $289 a month. That's Jeep Wrangler Sport S or Jeep Compass Limited Altitude. Your choice, $289 a month. And if you're looking for an off-road beast, we Gossett in 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn. Now just $389 a month. That's right, Ram Tough Truck buyers. 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn, $389 a month. Plus 0% for 72 months available. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat online. GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
Wrangler TW 182.534, Compass TT 16309, Ram SN 204.539, includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895 excludes tax, file, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 11/30/2025 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Mercedes-Benz Van Center Memphis has serious vans for serious work. At 4430 American Way, they are the Mid-South source for cargo, passenger, crew vans, and custom chassis. Need one or a full fleet? New or used? They've got it with fleet solutions and custom upfits. Certified techs keep you moving with fast maintenance, repairs, and a large parts inventory. Mercedes-Benz Van Center is your Sprinter Van headquarters. 901-237-9302 or sprintervans.com. Mercedes-Benz Van Center Memphis, part of the Tag Truck Center family, driven to keep you on the road.
Your Memphis Tigers football team is home for the regular season finale Thursday, November 27th, as they take on the Navy Midshipmen at 6:30. It's a Tiger Thanksgiving feast, and the first 5,000 fans will receive a Memphis football replica jersey apron. Arrive early as we celebrate our seniors one last time at Liberty Stadium. Don't miss the action, the giveaways, and the memories. Visit GoTigersGo.com/tickets for more information or to grab your seats today.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
We head just south of the border, and the beat writer for the Tiger basketball team and the commercial appeal is the one and only Jason Munz. What lessons did we learn in the Bahamas? Good morning.
Good morning, Wolo. Lessons.
Yeah.
Gotta stop fouling. Gotta have better situational awareness, and that's everybody. That's top to bottom.
That's mental.
What's that?
That is a mental thing. Yeah.
Yeah. That is T to B. That is top to bottom. Better situational awareness. Obviously, I'm talking about the end of the Wake Forest game.
Yep.
And kind of there were multiple things that happened in a very short span of game clock time that obviously need to be learned from, and that's what a lesson is. You got to learn from it. So there's that, and then on the positive side, I still continue to come away. I know it's only 5 games into the season, but each game I come away more and more encouraged. If I'm a fan, I come away more and more encouraged with the depth that this team has. Not saying that you've got any superstars deep on the bench, but I've seen something from pretty much everybody who's played somewhat significant minutes. I've seen something from every single one of them, whether it's 11 deep, 12 deep. I've seen something from everyone in at least one game that would make me think, yeah, this guy can give me something. This guy can be this guy can be a role player on this team, or a starter on this team, or a star on this team. And in the Bahamas, obviously it was William Wharton and Tariq Ingram.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Zach Davis stepped up as well, more than what he had been previously. So, those are probably my biggest takeaways.
I'm with you. The depth is the most impressive thing for me. Nosilla, and all of a sudden it's William Wharton who steps up. Ingram looks like he can really be a good player. He's getting into shape. We still have not seen Hassan Abdul Hakim. And,
that is right.
And Penny continues to assert that he's the best big guy, that he's like Draymond Green, that he does so many different things. And we may see him tomorrow night against SIU. So it's that depth that has really impressed me. And I said this earlier, I'll just reiterate it because I like your thoughts. I really thought going into the Bahamas after the showing at UNLV that this team was either not very good, or there was some dysfunction in that game, or something occurred and I didn't know what it was, but I thought they would get blown out by 30 by Purdue. Well, they led 16 minutes. They showed you could compete with the best team in the country. It gave me a lot of hope. It truly did. But now, you blew one game because of mental errors. And, Zach Davis, you mentioned, he can be really good, but he's the part of the mental errors at the end of the game.
He was, and he's not alone either, though. I mean,
no, he's not.
We were talking about William Wharton. Like, he didn't exactly defend the inbounds pass very well. Not 100% sure why you had Ashton Hardaway guarding the inbounds. I feel like that would have been better to have 5 guys guarding 4.
Or Majaka on the inbounder, jumping.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you there. And then obviously, trying to think who you had: William Wharton, you had Zach Davis, you had Ashton. So there were a few things that happened late in that game. Ashton Hardaway obviously committed the foul that sent Wake Forest to the free throw line.
But that doesn't happen. That never happens. As Zach Davis grabs the rebound and pulls it out.
Yes, no. I mean, there were multiple things that went wrong. In the course of the late seconds of that game, but to me, what all this underscores, I mean, obviously, I do still think that this team lacks a true secondary scoring option. Like, Doug McDaniel showed that he is the guy.
Right.
You know, like he showed in the Bahamas that he is the guy. He's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna do that at game in and game out the same way Kendrick Davis did. But like, you know, he is A. He is 1A for this team, and they just don't really have a 1B. I mean,
well, you know who that's supposed to be? That's supposed to be Sincere Parker, who injured his hand and didn't play really very much at all in the game against Wake Forest.
Yeah, 2 minutes and change, I think it was, that he played in the first half, and yes, but even when he is healthy, he hasn't exactly popped. You know what I mean? Like and he's capable of it. That's the weird thing, is that Sincere Parker came here with that on his resume, the ability to pop, the ability to go off, and we just haven't seen it yet. Now, again, it's only 5 games. But those like 5 games is what it's a decent chunk of the season if we're being honest.
Well, so, you play 31 regular season games, so
yeah, so that's like just what 15, 18, 17%, something like that of the season. So,
right.
So it is starting to add up. But we'll see what happens when Hassan Abdul Hakim gets on the floor. I got concerns with that too. Like this team is kind of, I think this team is starting to gel. They're not there yet, and I think that's probably the biggest thing holding this team back is the fact that it hasn't. They're just not quite there yet. They're not quite in sync. So if you do bring Hassan Abdul Hakim back sooner than later, does he upset that? You know what I mean? Like the progress that has been made, does he upset that flow a little bit?
If he's really the glue guy, like Penny describes when he says Draymond Green, then I don't think he does. Because he's not going to be selfish with the ball. He's going to rebound for you. He's going to distribute for you. He's going to defend for you, and that would be a fit. So and no one's going to complain about minutes because they're already rotating like crazy as it is. I know I don't know about the Givens injury, the way he went down, that thigh contusion. I think he's going to be out. That's the same thing that Hakeem had, by the way.
Yeah.
So he may be out a week or so. He may not play in the next 2 games. We'll see. And then I don't know about Parker.
Yeah, I mean, there's still, obviously, if Curtis Givens is out, you still got plenty of depth at the guard position. You got Quante Berry, you got Julius Bedford, Zach Davis is emerging a little bit. And if you do have to sit Curtis Givens, I know they're different positions, but you bring back Hassan Abdul Hakim, who can help you with depth in that area. So the biggest question mark to me though is Aaron Bradshaw. I mean,
I don't know what do you do about Aaron Bradshaw?
That to me is the biggest question. Is like I could see it going one of 2 ways in the near future. Like, is it time to rein him, pull him back and sort of move Simon Majok, William Wharton, and Tariq Ingram up a tick or 2 each, and just sort of reduce Aaron's role to help him with the fouling, to help him with his confidence, those sorts of things? Or do you just stay the course against Southern Illinois and against New Orleans? Although, I mean, I don't know if anybody saw what New Orleans did at Mississippi State last night.
I did. They lost by 2
in overtime. New Orleans is legit. And
what do they have? Do they have? Because I believe Master P.
Yeah, he's the director of basketball or president of basketball operations or something like that.
Yes, and he's apparently given them a whole bunch of money. So they got. Yeah. Did they go the same route? Like I hear UT Martin is all these the newest thing, international pros like the guard at Ole Miss. Is that what they got at New Orleans?
That is not what they're doing in New Orleans. They have a guy. His name is Churchill Abbas. He's their big man. He was kind of a highly touted type of guy in a weird way. I mean, he wasn't like a 5-star and anything like that, but he had some buzz about him when he was coming out of, I think it was prep school, either high school or prep school, and so he's their main big man. They got a guy named Colton Benson who played at Texas State, who is just a regular guy, but he's their best player. He's averaging like 18 points a game or 19 points a game. I think he went for 20 plus last night against Mississippi State. And then they got some other pieces. They got a guy named MJ Bryant, I think, who's a freshman who's pretty good. And so yeah, like they just sort of established a little bit of a new culture.
Wow.
And they brought in some fresh blood, and yeah, they're legit. So
I guarantee you, when Tim Duncan signed his old team up to play in this, I'm sure he had a part of that. Yeah. He did not think they would be this good.
No,
but we get ahead of ourselves.
Plus. Yeah, right. Southern Illinois.
And I was a little surprised. Your prediction, you got Memphis winning, but much closer than I would have.
I mean, I every game they've played's been close except for the UNLV game. So that's kind of what I'm going by there. I mean, listen, I think SIU's got pieces. They've got Prince Alec-Bay and Rollins Alec-Bay, a couple of 6'7", 6'8" guys who rebound it well, brothers who are playing well right now. Their leading scorer, I think his name is Quelron House.
Yeah.
Something like that. He's pretty darn good.
He did not come from a big program. Like, they got a kid from Texas Tech, I know. But their leading scorer came from, I want to say it was a mid-major, right?
Yeah, I think that's right. But they lost yesterday to UAB. They haven't really played anybody of super like of Memphis's caliber. And so I just think that Memphis is due, and they're back home, and they got a sour taste in their mouth, and I think they're going to come out ready to snap this thing.
How good is UAB too? Remember, they lost to Tony Madlock in Alabama State, so I have no idea how good they are.
Nothing against Alabama State, but yes, that is a good question.
Yeah.
We don't know exactly how good the UAB is.
All right, my friend. I will see you tomorrow night, FedEx Forum.
All right. Sounds good.
The Tigers and the Salukis. That's our guy. That is Jason Munz from the Commercial Appeal. He's brought to you by Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. You're pulling the trigger. It's a big deal. You're going to build that dream home. Maybe it's on land that you had in your family for years. Now you feel like it's the right time to finally do it. But you're not sure how to utilize the land. Ken knows. 3 generations. Ken Sr., Ken Jr.'s been running the company for a while now. William is in the fold. All 3 have the same philosophies. 1, they see little details in the big picture. 2, the job's never done. I've seen it where, the house was done a year and a quarter ago. There's a little thing that's a problem. Ken's right over there to check it out and to help you out. That's just the way he is. Same thing with remodels. You don't want to move from your location, this house. It feels so good, but you want modern amenities. I call it renovation with innovation. None are better than Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. Go to the website. You'll see how many homes he's built throughout our whole Mid-South area. And then give him a call because you'll love talking to him. Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. If you're building or remodeling, that's the one name you need to know. That'll do it for us. Back tomorrow, usual day. Joe Dank on the business of sports. And maybe a surprise in the Wednesday later spot. We'll let you know on that tomorrow morning. In the meantime, Johnny Radio's right around the corner. Have a great day, everyone.